The Quran affirms the inspiration, the preservation, and the authority of the Jewish and Christian scriptures. Over and over again, like a beating drum, Allah declares that the Torah and the Gospel are reliable and true in their entirety. Reading the Quran, it's as if Allah is saying, "How can I possibly make it any clearer to you that the Torah and the Gospel are not, have never been, and never will be corrupted?" And yet, our Muslim friends insist that Allah somehow means the exact opposite of what He repeatedly says. But we're here to help by taking our Muslim friends through the Quran and showing them all the verses that their sheikhs and imams have been hiding from them. Watch what happens when we carefully read a single Quran verse that refers to the previous scriptures. We're going to read Surah 2, verse 85. But just to make sure we're not taking Surah 2, verse 85 out of context, we'll read from verse 83 to verse 86. This passage is a response to the Jews of Medina. It's a little confusing if you don't know the historical background, so we'll read the passage, then I'll explain what it's about, and finally we'll see how verse 85 completely exposes some of the lies you've heard about the Quran's view of the Bible. Allah says, "And remember when we made a covenant with the children of Israel, worship none but God. Be virtuous toward parents, kinsfolk, orphans, and the indigent. Speak to people in a goodly way, and perform the prayer and give the alms. Then you turned away, save a few of you, swerving aside. And when we made a covenant with you, do not shed the blood of your own, and do not expel your own from your homes. Then you ratified it, bearing witness, and yet it is you, the very same, who kill your own, and expel a party of you from their homes, conspiring against them in sin and enmity. And if they come to you as captives, you ransom them, though their expulsion was forbidden to you. Do you then believe in part of the book, and disbelieve in part? And what is the recompense of those who do so, but disgrace in the life of this world? And on the day of resurrection, they shall be consigned to the most severe punishment. And God is not heedless of what you do. It is they who have purchased the world at the price of the hereafter. For them the punishment shall not be lightened, nor will they be helped." Verses 83 and 84 describe God's covenant with the children of Israel. The most significant parts for understanding verse 85 are the commands, "Do not shed the blood of your own, and do not expel your own from your homes," and the Quran's claim that the Jews ratified this covenant. In verse 85, Allah condemns the Jews of Medina. He says, "And yet it is you, the very same, who kill your own, and expel a party of you from their homes, conspiring against them in sin and enmity. And if they come to you as captives, you ransom them, though their expulsion was forbidden to you." So they were commanded, "Do not shed the blood of your own, and do not expel your own from your homes." But they broke the covenant by killing some of their own and expelling some of their own from their homes. The historical background is that there were 3 Jewish tribes and 2 pagan Arab tribes in Medina. The Jewish tribes were the Banu Qaynuqa, the Banu an-Nadir, and the Banu Qurayza. The Arab tribes were al-Khazraj and al-Aus. 2 of the Jewish tribes, the Banu Qaynuqa and the Banu an-Nadir, had an alliance with the Khazraj tribe. One of the Jewish tribes, the Banu Qurayza, had an alliance with the Aus tribe. So, some Jews were allies of one pagan Arab tribe, and other Jews were allies of a different pagan Arab tribe. The 2 Arab tribes used to fight each other, and because their Jewish allies would come to their aid, Jews would be fighting on both sides of the battle. This meant that Jews would end up shedding the blood of their fellow Jews and expelling their fellow Jews from their homes. Allah had commanded them not to do that. But if their fellow Jews, even the ones fighting for the opposing side, were captured, they would ransom them and bring them home safely, because they had been commanded to ransom their own people. now we can understand verse 85. And yet it is you, the very same, who kill your own and expel a party of you from their homes, conspiring against them in sin and enmity. And if they come to you as captives, you ransom them, though their expulsion was forbidden to you. Do you then believe in part of the book and disbelieve in part? And what is the recompense of those who do so, but disgrace in the life of this world? And on the day of resurrection they shall be consigned to the most severe punishment, and God is not heedless of what you do. The criticism here is that, on the one hand, the Jews of Medina would ransom captive Jews because they were commanded by God to ransom captive Jews. But, on the other hand, they would fight their fellow Jews and expel their fellow Jews, even though they were commanded by God not to do those things. So, they were picking and choosing which commands to obey. And how does Allah respond? He says, do you then believe in part of the book and disbelieve in part? He condemns them for only believing in part of their book, the Torah, and not believing all of it. Allah goes on to say that if they only believe in part of their book and not in all of their book, He will punish them in this world and later send them to hell. He says, do you then believe in part of the book and disbelieve in part? And what is the recompense of those who do so, but disgrace in the life of this world? And on the day of resurrection they shall be consigned to the most severe punishment. Why is this a problem for our Muslim friends? Well, what does almost every Dawah guy or imam or sheikh on the planet say about the previous scriptures? They say the previous scriptures have been corrupted, so you should only believe in the parts that haven't been corrupted, namely the parts that agree with Islam. Only believe in parts of the Torah. Don't believe in other parts because they've been corrupted. What does Allah say? Do you then believe in part of the book and disbelieve in part? And what is the recompense of those who do so, but disgrace in the life of this world? And on the day of resurrection, they shall be consigned to the most severe punishment. So Allah says, if you only believe in part of your book, I'll send you to hell. But Dawah guys and imams and sheikhs say, only believe in part of your book. They say the exact opposite of what Allah says in the Quran. Again, Allah says, as clearly as He says anything in the Quran, if you only believe in part of your book and not in all of your book, I'll send you to hell. And Muslim leaders and influencers say, only believe in part of your book, not in all of it. And who do ordinary Muslims listen to? Do they listen to Allah, or do they listen to their leaders and influencers who say the exact opposite of what Allah says? They listen to their leaders and influencers, tossing the book of Allah behind their backs. There are tons of verses in the Quran that confirm the inspiration, preservation, and authority of the previous scriptures. Most Muslims only believe in the verses about the inspiration of the previous scriptures. They don't believe in the verses about the preservation and authority of the previous scriptures. It seems that Muslims have been taught by their Dawah guys and imams and sheikhs to only believe in part of the Quran, not all of it. So I have to ask, Muslims, why do you believe in part of your book and not all of it? You believe in the parts of the Quran that say what you want it to say, but not in the parts of the Quran that confirm the Torah and the Gospel. What would Allah say about you picking and choosing which parts of the Quran to believe in? I'm pretty sure He would say to you precisely what He said to the Jews of Medina. Do you then believe in part of the book and disbelieve in part? And what is the recompense of those who do so, but disgrace in the life of this world? And on the day of resurrection they shall be consigned to the most severe punishment.